Okay, hello, hello. Now that I've kind of gotten things settled, I realized one of the light bulbs in my ceiling fan is out. My necklace broke sometime last night while I was sleeping. It's been a day. So, the plan for tonight is to finish up the bar top and attach it to the rest of the bar. So, we will see how that goes, and hopefully I have enough string to make that last, because I only have one more skein of that. So we're gonna play another form of chicken as we thank you. Yeah, I haven't actually gotten around to posting anything. So here's one of the bar stools to go at the bar. I have little like dining chair. Here, I'm just gonna go this way. Hopefully I don't break my camera. So you got the doll working at it, working at the table. So that is going to eventually end up inside the whole tavern area as I slowly move this back, hoping I don't break things. Yes, little posable people. So I can have them sit. So the doll patterns are my own design, the outfits are all my design. You know, they have the shoes, to the point where, like, the eye even has the coloring. That was the first like embroidery that I've done. But she's the owner of the bar, if you couldn't tell by the apron. So it's a well, she's Fae, so she's seen a lot of things. In fact, the Fae are known to have all of the information. Yeah, it's one of those things like, so this is the character Kazul. So they're gonna be small. It's gonna be, far away. So she has her whole traveling ensemble, including her teeny tiny dagger that I cut on my laser at work instead of doing real work. But it's like a dark, gritty fantasy setting. I say gritty because it was based off of a LARP I participated in, and I have since turned it, instead of, oh yes, lightest touch, and we're all happy and friends here. It no, blood, guts, death, all of that stuff. So I was able to make some decent progress on this while I was at work today, but I just got to finish this last little section and then sew it up. And I may or may not need to add the supports that I designed just to have a little extra security, put support in the back here and on the ends. Then I get to work on the floor, which I haven't decided exactly what pattern I'm going to do, other than I'm basically going to take a complete full sheet to make like floor panels that I can tile, because then I can repurpose them when I make my video game, if I ever get around to that. Helps if I don't let the thread tangle up, and then I don't yank the part out of my hands. Ow. Also probably helps if I don't punch the desk. Hey Royal, what's up? How's it going? I'm almost done with this bar. And then fair enough, fair enough. Nah, see, for me, it'd be the Pokemon music. That original generation Pokemon battle music. I really hope I have enough to finish this because I don't know if the craft store is gonna have any more of this color right now. 'Cause I pretty much cleaned them out last time I was there, so I might have to order some. I'm sure that a random Girl Scout enemy would not be something uh, that the devs would mind adding in to that bot. Would be pretty hilarious. You defeated 3 golems, you big meanie. They just wanted to be friends. Now we begin the final countdown of the final skein. Hank, I still don't know what the appropriate terminology is for the bundle of embroidery floss. I'm gonna go with skein because that's what I use for every other type of yarn, even though I believe technically it'd be a hank since it's not like wound around anything. I don't know. We're gonna save the number over there. This way I can be like, ah, yes, I need to order 50 of these. Ink slimes. That's different. Okay. Absolutely. In fact, a lot of times, the more cutesy something is, the more deadly it ends up being. Oh, hey, look, more golems. I'm definitely going to have to get more of, at the very least, this color thread, because I'm going to need to make the gate that acts like on the side of the bar that you can flip up to gain access to behind the bar. And as it is, I think I'm barely going to have enough to sew this all together. But fingers crossed that we don't run out. Well, see, the current objective of mine and with this bot is to there's a you can build. So here, let's see, RPG. So I'm like not even close to everything that I need to get to upgrade to build the house. So you got to raid the desert to get buckets of sand that you can turn into glass. You raid the mines for stone. You raid the forest for logs that you can turn into planks. And straw, you have to grow the wheat, and you get straw when you harvest that. So, like, I could concentrate on one area, I guess. Pick one of them. But excuse me. Yeah, seriously. Ow. Hot. Hot tea is hot. But it's surprisingly tasty. I've never tried this flavor. I swear, I know what I'm doing most of the time. No, we're not doing it that way. I swear, I clock out from work and it's like my brain immediately switches off. Then again, if I didn't have to think for everybody else at my job, what am I doing? It's whatever bones I was managed to salvage. Clearly, I hit them so hard with whatever weapon I have equipped that they just completely vanished. But I did get a lot of fur. I got 7 total fur. So maybe what happened is I just made a mess when I was trying to get the skins off of them. Okay. Listen, I'm not saying that this is a perfectly balanced RPG, but it's something that people can interact with in the chat, which, helps with the statistics of having people be active in chat. If there were people here. But I do appreciate you hanging out. And I knew this whole streaming thing wasn't going to be easy. What I do is not, you know, oh, it's not gaming where everybody's like, oh yeah, we totally got to check that out. And unless you're particularly interested in this type of craft, it is a little hard to stay and hang out. I don't know how I get wheat and straw from planting wheat, but that's why I'm not a farmer. Can I make a bag of salt? Ah, the answer is no, I cannot. Hello, Baze. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Thanks for the raid. I finally got my alerts working, so that's exciting. Hello, Mimi. I am putting the finishing touches, not really the finishing touches, but I am assembling. I don't. I think it should be playing. I was attempting to fight rock slugs, but I don't have the necessary materials to make a bag of salt, apparently. It's I thought I had the alerts set up, but I didn't actually have them added to OBS, so I don't think they were showing up properly, if at all. But I since have figured that out. But I am now attaching the bar top to the bar. I believe there is an antifungal spray though. No, that's quite all right. I specifically stopped playing League of Legends because of the amount of salt there was. It's so I just got this tea. Yeah, yes. The Fae the Fae has seen some things. I mean, I've made a whole dwarven battle helmet before. I could probably whip you up something like that. It'd basically just be a fancy hat. We'll include the little hair tie and everything, and make sure we get the little dangly bits that go behind the ears. So how are y'all doing on this Tuesday night? It's been an up and down kind of day. I woke up to my so I have this necklace that basically just holds a lot of shiny gems. The glass had popped out of it while I was sleeping, so first thing this morning I had to dig through my bed to try and find a bunch of gemstones. Then work was fine. And then I got an email from basically the second I see their name pop up, my blood pressure like doubles. So, but now I'm here hanging out with y'all, so it definitely got better. I am attaching the bar top to the bar front. So it'll make that nice edge, and this will be the whole like bar that sits in a corner of the tavern. So I'm just very carefully making sure the yarn doesn't tangle up like this, the thread rather. So these are all prop pieces. Uh, actually, yeah. Once I like get some of these prop pieces, I could definitely do like a whole tutorial thing on just various streams. Here, I got you a Heineken base. Is that okay? Either that, or you can have one off a tap. But yeah, I have absolutely no problem. Is that one of your other stripper names? Oh, I dare. I dare. Besides, the only beer we have around here in excess is Coors Light. Ah, yeah, that's a problem. Have fun getting your no name tortilla chips. But yeah, send me a message, Mimi, and we can set something up. I have no problem doing a tutorial or of some sort. I like I've honed my skill uh with like because I also knit and crochet. So it was because I made a lot of stuffed animals. So my sewing skills have been picked up through that. Of, oh, I have to sew these components together, or I need to figure out how I want to attach or like the eyes. So any of my embroidery skills are, excuse me, mostly this is plastic canvas and a needle. So this comes in, I had a loose sheet somewhere. Comes in sheets like this. It's kind of it's it's similar to what like needlepoint is done in, except the holes are a little bit bigger and this is actually plastic as opposed to like a canvas. So it gives a little bit more structure as opposed to, just kind of folding over. But one of the my favorite things that I've made, as I try not to fall over things. So this was my own pattern that I had made using smaller yarn, and then I got the large like velvet yarn, just because I'm like, I like to have something that I can just go like this and security blanket type thing. So for these I used the safety eyes, but I needed to sew like the spine on or the horns on. The basic embroidery is for like the nostrils. So I haven't named him, but he'll hang out here and be our buddy. You got the little wings back here too. But and because it's a nice heavy yarn and there's a good amount of like the fiber fill in here, it actually has a nice amount of like weight to it. So it's almost like having a pet. So the dragon's just gonna sit here. If you couldn't tell by the profile picture and the fact that my stories tend to involve dragons, I'm a fan. So a lot of times, yes, I make my own patterns most of the time. There are times that I will like use existing patterns, and that's for like clothing items because I can't be bothered to figure out how clothes are supposed to happen. But now go from the giant dragon. These guys are also crocheted, but with like the tiny thread. So these are also my own design that have the pipe cleaners in them so that they can be posed. So she can be, sassy. And with like the clothes I've done go for it. I'm not going anywhere. Very good. Now that you can see clearly. But yeah. So like the dress is all crocheted. Again, these are all my own designs that it's like, ah, yes, I need to come up with an outfit and I need to figure out how I want to make it and hope I have an appropriate amount of like drape when it's supposed to drape or when things are supposed to act a certain way or look a certain way. And like I got lucky when it comes to like properly sewing is my grandma sews. That's about the only craft thing she does. So she taught me how to do, the basic hand sewing. And I do own a sewing machine. It has yet to actually be set up and used. But there's something I just like the hand sewing of when I can actually control where each stitch goes and where it sets. But I taught myself to crochet. Uh, I taught myself to knit. So if you have only done like straight back and forth or like blankets and scarves, sometimes getting like a kit would be the easiest thing because they'll give you uh like very simple patterns and easy to work with yarn. But if there are if you don't care about that and you want to just use whatever stuff you have on hand, I would be happy to walk you through some sort of like tutorial. uh I have a couple of like very simple designs here. Let me see if I can pull up the relevant pictures. Somewhere in my phone I have them, I think. Or I thought I had pictures of them on here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, sometimes the clothing is it definitely takes a lot out of you. Load. Okay. So I have some very simple, very basic load. Little like animals. So this is the original dragon pattern. I have a couple more of them somewhere. I know I've made I made a donkey too, but I don't have that one on here. Um, but if that's like the style you're looking for, I could actually bother to type up the pattern and I'd have no problem walking you through that if you are interested. We could do a whole like crochet along or something. Yeah. Listen, I have absolutely no problem teaching people who want to learn. I just don't have I just have issues trying to teach people who want nothing to do with anything. No, I have those patterns written down somewhere. I just gotta type them up, and then I can send them to you so you can look at the pattern, and then I can walk you through everything. Because I know my notes don't necessarily make sense to people sometimes. That is a combination. Yeah, a lot of times, the like actual step-by-step instructions. I know. So if you've heard of the Woobles, listen, base. I'm not critiquing. Like, I'm just saying it's an interesting combination. I'm the one who does grocery shopping, and I swear it looks like I'm buying groceries for like a horde of toddlers. String cheese, Go-Gurt, Lunchables. That was my dinner tonight. I had Lunchables. But Mimi, if you look up the Woobles, it, they actually have those like step-by-step kits. Absolutely. The only thing you're missing is a Capri Sun. Because I don't get the Lunchable kits. I just get the there you go. Or some Gushers. Here, I'll type it out so you can just copy it. So they have a bunch of kits, and it's like bigger yarn, so it's really easy to work with. No, I have Gushers now because I have money now. We had that those flat fruit roll-ups. Then again, I am from, New York, and I live on Long Island. I guess we kind of have to be one of those fancy, at least have some amount of money. Ah, yeah, I don't know where they actually like ship or don't ship. I just know that that type of kit, they actually have um I didn't use the videos because they annoyed me. Um but they do have the each individual like steps. However, if you have yarn and a hook, I will be more than happy to do step by step with you. That's ridiculous. So we will avoid excess shipping costs, and we will do a tutorial over the internet for free. There was also a very simple, like, teddy bear pattern that I had found at one point. It's like drone airdrop. Yeah, that's what the package looks like in the truck. Shaking like that. Good bot. I feel like at that point you should just set up like a PO box in another country somewhere that you can just easily get to. It looks like a bar from this angle. At least mostly anyway. Well, clearly it has to go through customs. And I mean, they must have seen who it was from. They're like, ah, that low base guy is kind of suspicious. We better make sure it's nothing crazy. So just blame base. Well, yeah, clearly they had to take the package to get checked out by someone else to make sure that base wasn't sending you anything too sketchy. Listen, the wolf bones made sense. I'm not really sure I want bandit bones. I don't know, maybe they were just trying to play keep away. Hey, it's been in more different countries than I have. Which, to be fair, is not really that hard to do, seeing as how I haven't been out of the country, period. Yeah, that's what happens. Didn't one of your stripper names have something to do with a package? My bad. Well, yeah, base has all the good names. Well, there's nothing saying that you can't, just dress up for us. Doesn't have to be while you're at the club. But in all seriousness, the amount of like core strength you have to be a pole dancer, even if you're not the fun kind of pole dancer, it's ridiculous. I'm not even in the right window. Like, there we go. Woo.
Woohoo! How did you get more earth orbs than I did? I killed more of them.
Me and this bot are gonna fight, I swear. You also got a mana ring? Twisting the thread. Probably time to go raiding again. Here. Raid. We're gonna go desert. If I can type. Okay. Okay. I feel like the thread twists itself up more and more, like on purpose. Every crafter knows that the thread or the fiber, the yarn has a mind of its own. And will do everything in its power to make life extremely difficult for you.
So we are now a little over halfway done with attaching the top of the bar to the front of the bar. No, that's where I want it to come out of. One of these days I'll stop punching my microphone. I swear. In theory, this will get a little easier once I make it around this corner. That's what I'm telling myself, anyways. Let the yarn untwist. And then I want to at least start the floor. I'm probably going to need to order more of that too. Interesting. You could try RPG Make Wooden Stake if you have the stuff, which you might if you've done any raids. Understandable. Well, surely Nyla must understand that just because
Some of them are bad and must be destroyed. Not all of them must. And to be fair, they attacked me first. It was self-defense. So I have a question for all y'all. I'm trying to figure out what sort of pattern I want to use for the floor of the tavern. I have this light gray driftwood. I think the color is light driftwood or whatever. Now, I was thinking of either doing like stripes that are like this, but like twice the width, or I could do almost like a brick like pattern, but because I have, okay, I have long vertical bars here, I have the long, you know, wood grain. What do y'all think? Because I can't decide on that. Or do I just make a bunch of like diagonal squares that go opposite of each other that I might have an example of somewhere? I don't know where I put that. Because I have something called, I think it's like a scotch or stitch, where it's basically you go here, but then you go, like it's just a square. I'm not describing these very well. Listen, I'm sure Nyla would be able to help me design, like, you know, fancy gothic. Maybe when I'm working on my castle, Nyla can help. Don't know. Ah. So eat something if you're hangry. But if you step into the brandy bush, most likely you're just going to be handed whatever stew's been cooking all day.
I also need to figure out how to represent like cobblestone with this plastic canvas. Which, once I figure out how to do like the rounded corners, shouldn't be too terrible. And I have a vague idea. Because I think for like the walls, I'm gonna do that like cobblestone on the bottom and then the wood just going vertically on top. I think that's the aesthetic I'll go. I guess that's another thing I have to think about what I want to do for like emotes. How did you manage to tie yourself in a freaking bow? What even is going on here? Okay, I got rid of most of that mess. What is that emote? I see. Are we just gonna go through all of the emotes now? Oh, flying thunder wizards, as opposed to normal thunder wizards. Hello, battle? Are we not battling? What do you mean I already participated? You didn't give me a response. Fair enough. The only pet that is in my house is technically my sister's dog, uh, Dino, or as I call him, Emperor Fluffy Butt. Okay. I think I might just barely have enough thread to finish this. This part of what I'm doing, anyways. Because then I will start building my order to basically just be like, ah, yes, I need like 50 of these. Because the color that the bar top is, I think I will also use to make like the doors. And maybe like a fancy desk or something. Apparently my allergies have decided I'm done. Because all of a sudden, congestion. This is going to be extremely close. No, I'm gonna run out. I'm gonna be just short. At least it'll be enough that I can hide when I take some pictures. Yeah, because that's not enough to finish. Because I need to make sure I have enough to actually hide the end. We were so close. Whoa. Hello. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for the raid, Podunk.
I have just run out of thread.
Thanks, Mimi. Bringing in the backup.
So I just ran out of thread with just a little bit left, but for the most part, the bar is at least assembled all together. Just gotta get more of that color. Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? So I'm gonna carefully turn this over here. We're gonna not knock things over. So I gotta add a little bit of support in the back there, which will, so like, I still have to finish off these back edges, and I do have a couple of little support pillars that I will be making to add to the back. But to give you at least a example, she'd be, chilling back here, waiting for somebody to place an order. Yeah, I definitely am gonna need those support pillars, because otherwise let's get Vero up here. Oh, knocking everything over. So which game? The bot that I have going, or what's going on over here? So it is basically like a text-based role-playing game. All it is it's occasionally the messages in chat will pop up saying, "Oh, hey, a horde of enemies has appeared." And realistically, the minimum you have to do is just type in that command $RPG battle. And you earn experience points. It lets you get items to build. And while you do that, you can upgrade the different items. You can uh, raid different areas. You can eventually like go to streams that spawn bosses. So if you've ever played like any sort of like a Final Fantasy game, or like World of Warcraft, those type of resource management games, that's sort of what this is, but in a very dumbed down like thing. Yeah. So this is just basically Battle Simulator. But so here we have the bar. You have Kazul lurking in the background. But what will realistically happen is that there will be a wall here. So there'll be a gate on this side back here. And there'll be a doorway to the kitchen in the background. But that is at least the start of the set. Now I just need to figure out how I want to make the floors. Because basically I'm going to take this, as I throw it on the floor. There's like very light gray. And it'll be some sort of probably slightly larger, just square pattern. I will experiment with that tomorrow. Tea break. So the main hub in this world is a tavern called the Brandy Bush. Um, so a lot of it takes place in either up in one of the rooms in the tavern, whether it's down in the main area of the tavern. And because the tavern keeper, Tiri, is Fae, you'll find an entrance to the Brandy Bush in every town and occasionally outside of town. But it all goes to the same Brandy Bush. So this is the start of that. This is basically the Adventurers Guild, the hub of all of that. Which is why I figured, hey, let me start with that, since at least 80% of the scenes start or end in the tavern. And I got all of the fun minis as I break it. Yes. Here's the bowl of soup with the little teeny tiny spoon. So the bartender can go and serve. Got the little pots and pans. The all important mugs of beer. And of course, the keys to all of the rooms. Listen, no, my next project is typing up the patterns so I can make sure I can send them to you, Mimi. Uh, but after that, we will plot and plan and come up with a couple of wigs for low base. I even have like teeny tiny crowns. Now, a lot of like everything, again, as I break my container. How are you not? I hate this container. I really do. Crocodile, you're in luck. I have a pattern for that. That is, actually, give me 2 seconds. Because I think I have that binder over here in the background. Not that one. I have so many miscellaneous patterns just kind of all over the place. Is it this one? No. What did I do with all of those patterns? I have them written down somewhere. I don't know. At the very least, I think I still have them in one of the original notebooks that I wrote them down in. I give up. I try organizing things and I end up losing it. Ugh. But so basically, the main characters in this whole world, you have Vero, who is the scholar that has a lot of like memory gaps because he has some extra souls that have latched onto his body to protect him from traumatic events. And then you have Kazul, who has basically given up on everything because she is a dragon that is currently trapped in human form due to a rune circle, like ancient runes type thing, uh, set up after she went on a 500-year long rampage. Uh, and it's basically slowly bleeding out her inner fire. So she needs to kind of get that reversed. Um, and the story begins with Vero sitting at the bar, basically being like, yes, let me write random observations in my notebook. Kazul walking in, being like, give me the rarest steak you'll let me eat without giving me the animal alive, because dragons. And I decided to go in this direction where I'm making all these plastic canvas props. We have the dining chair, we have the table, because I didn't want to keep buying like these pre-made ones that you can buy in like the sets where you get two chairs and a single table, and they don't quite fit in the same, like they don't quite match all aesthetically. They don't fit the dolls to the right scale. However, when I find cool things like this fireplace here that, lights up, not that it shows up very well, but there, you can see the reflection of it. So that'll be off in the background. Let me move this light so you can get that effect. So you have the fireplace lighting things up in the background. Or, they always have a backyard area. So you have the little fire pit that lights up. So certain things are cool. Other things I need to customize and tailor specifically to the world and how I want them. And I'm definitely going to need to make, if I'm using these as like the floor panels, probably like I have this hovering over. I'll lift y'all up so you can see, to give a general sense. Be like, okay, 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 should be a good general area of the tavern that'll tell me how many tables I need to fill. And then over here behind the tavern will be the party room. So you'll have like one big table. So that's where the I'm gonna say local militia, even though that's not technically accurate, because again, the tea tree is the same tea tree everywhere. Sorry, Brandy Bush. The tea tree is what it was actually called. But with that being said, I still clearly have to order more thread, get some more supplies. Obviously the bar stool is a little too tall for the table, but I am gonna call it there for tonight. I've been going for a little over 2 hours at this point, and I will pass the love on. And does anybody have anybody they want me to raid? If not, I'm gonna just pull up the menu and find somebody. No, thanks for raiding. Thanks for hanging out. Absolutely, everybody who's been hanging out. It would be, so my birthday is not this Friday, but it's next Friday. If I could hit at the very least the minimum of the 50 followers by next Friday, that would be amazing. But the fact that I'm this close already, it's all super thanks to Low Base for setting up the awesome community that allowed us to find everybody. So before he starts crying, let's find somebody to raid. Hmm.
Let's see.
Yes, but I have rated her before. I want to see if I can find somebody who only has like 1 or 2 viewers. Let's see if we can actually spread that love and get more people for our community. Here's some chainmail. I don't know if we have any chainmail people. So this is Roar BQ. Uh so yeah, I'm gonna send us over here. And let's go.